Colorado boasts a diverse and thriving cattle industry, representing every sector of our beef industry. And joining me in the studio to talk about the state of our industry are, first of all, Terry Fankhauser, the Executive Director, or Executive Vice President, I should say, Terry, of the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, Bill Hamrick, who serves as the CEO of the Colorado Livestock Association, and Fred Lombardi, the Executive Director of the Colorado Beef Council. I got Executive Director and Executive Vice President right this time. Welcome, gentlemen, to the show.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
You know, first of all, just tell folks a little bit about your organization. So, Terry, you represent the Cattlemen's. Tell us a little bit about the Colorado Cattlemen's Association.
Oh, absolutely. It's an honor to work for the organization. It's the nation's oldest Cattlemen's Association, founded in 1863. It's a good group of people. It's the foundation of the industry, very diverse organization representing all segments. We're a diverse state in Colorado, so we really entertain issues across the board. But, you know, it's really about the people. We work with great people, and we enjoy it.
Bill, the Colorado Livestock Association is a little bit of a unique organization to many states. Tell us just a little bit about how that came to be and what you're about.
To start with, I think we're the poster child for diversity. You mentioned the diverse industry that we do have in the state. We are a multi-species organization represented by beef cattle, both confined and ranching operations, dairy and sheep, and some swine.
Pretty neat organization. And Fred, talk to us a little bit about the Beef Council here in the state.
Well, we're in charge of the marketing. We're the checkoff part of the industry in our state. Our focus is build demand for beef, period.
You know, I'd like to talk a little bit about the state of the industry here in Colorado. We do have a very vibrant beef cattle industry, from cow-calf producers all the way to packer and value-added products here. Terry, tell us just a little bit about the cattle industry here in the state.
Well, not only like Colorado, but the beef industry, we're really a melting pot. It's really a systems approach to beef production. We have a good supply of grain, we have a good supply of seed stock and feeder cattle, good cow-calf industry, and one of the nation's largest in the fed industry. So we enjoy things like shorter transportation. We have a diverse makeup of private lands and federal lands and state lands. Along with that, though, we've also got a very diverse population of people. Colorado is rapidly growing. We see up to 600 acres a week or a month go out of production in agriculture in Colorado. So it has its challenges, but it also certainly has its opportunities that I think will ensure the state's an active beef producer into the future.
Bill, what would you add?
Kevin, I think that we have a couple of things. One is, in spite of what you see outdoors today as far as the weather concerned, the other 362 days a year are fairly pleasant. So I hope for all of those that are making the trek to Denver for this convention don't think this is representative of weather here in Colorado. But whether you are a beef, swine, or dairy producer, if you talk to those around the state here, climate here is one of the big keys to being part of their successful operations. I think that Terry touched on the diversity that we have not only in our agricultural operations, but our population. And that can be good and bad, but I think it is one of the things that by the challenges that are presented at that interface there, I think it has put us out on the edge, if you will, in being progressive to address those problems and issues that are going to sooner or later affect everybody in the country. And I think, in spite of what some people may think, I think that's an advantage we have.
Fred, what's been your perspective about the industry here in the state?
Well, I think, first off, again, being involved with the marketing side of the business, we experienced a severe drought about 8 years ago, and we lost about 20 to 25% of our revenue. Matter of fact, our budget this year is 25% less than the budget that I put together 9 years ago. And that creates a challenge, but it also gives us an opportunity to make sure that we're focused with regard to what we're doing.
Well, you start mentioning challenges, and I would ask you, Terry, a lot of challenges face cow-calf producers here in the state by virtue of the things that we deal with, everything from water to federal lands to endangered species. What are some of the keys that you're focused on in terms of the challenges?
Well, Kevin, it's a great honor to be a steward of the land, but it's also a great responsibility. And some of the major challenges that we see are obviously environmental issues, whether it's air, water, just stewardship of the land, wildlife, you name it, along with the mix of privately owned, state-owned, and federal lands. It's a real challenge to maintain a productive, profitable climate for beef producers to operate in. So as we look toward the future, that's a tremendous challenge. But issue number one for our organization, not only creating that climate, but enabling young producers to come back to the ranch and move forward with that business in a profitable way, a way that's sustainable and holds a future for the next generation. Because one thing we've learned very well is that there's no more land out there available. And when land goes out of agriculture, it's no longer going to be available to agriculture. So we have to sustain that opportunity on an ongoing basis.
That's a great point. Bill, what are some of the challenges you perceive across the beef industry and the entire livestock sector?
I think sustainability, and that means a lot of different things to people. Part of the tagline on a beef council ad here in Colorado is referring to the ranchers and farmers here as the original stewards of the land. And Terry's already touched on that, and I think it goes beyond that. It also is about all the other resources that we use in our production systems, whether that's air, water, both quantity and quality. And again, to go back to this population interface where we have those challenges, I think all of it has going to move together in the future, but we'll keep up.
The sustainability issue.
Yep.
Fred, is there anything beyond the checkoff and just the sheer dollars that you're dealing with that challenges the industry from your perspective?
Well, I think not only in Colorado, but we're speaking specifically of Colorado, we have focused with regard to a message about incorporating beef into a healthy lifestyle. I think that is foremost in our thought, foremost in our marketing. But in addition to that, as Terry and Bill alluded to, we have started, particularly over the last year to 2 years, to incorporate an environmental message with regard to our tagline, an environmental message with regard to basically all of our advertising, that whether it's radio, whether it's on RTD Light Rail, that we're running a full ad about cattlemen care for their animals. We want to make sure that we are creating a story to the consumer about the importance of animal agriculture as it pertains to the environment.
It's interesting how that's changed. 20 years ago, we were focused only on the health and nutrition aspects of the product. Now we're focused more broadly. Bill, what are some of the initiatives that CLA is working on in the coming year?
I would mention two. I think that air and water quality, and here we have an issue in Colorado with the Rocky Mountain National Park and the nitrification of some of our high altitude lakes and streams. That's not only a livestock or an agriculture user. We're all contributors here in the state. But as so many times is the case across the country, we seem to kind of have the target on our back. The other thing is animal welfare, and I think that it doesn't make any difference what species group you're in. We're all going to have to come together and address that issue collectively.
Great point. Fred, what are some of your priorities at the Beef Council?
Well, as I had mentioned, we have a budget this year about 25% less than 9 years ago. But because of the economy overall, it's given us an opportunity to buy more with fewer dollars. So we've been able to spread our dollars to where I believe we're every bit as effective today as we've ever been in reaching the consumer. The focus has been and will continue to be with regard to beef being part of the healthy lifestyle, and that cattle producers are true environmentalists.
Well, that's great. Gentlemen, I really appreciate you being here this evening and what you do for this state. It's an important industry in the state, and you all play a key role in that. Thanks for all you do and for being such a great host this week.
Thank you.
To learn more about the Colorado Cattlemen's Association, the Colorado Livestock Association, and the Colorado Beef Council, visit us at cattlemen2cattlemen.org.